Headspaces. It's VJ, the brother from the ancient mother. Once again, Headspace album reviews, on and on and on and on, profiling some of South Africa's most dynamic talents in terms of rap, and basically giving you, the audience, an opportunity to have conversations with me about the meaning, the momentum, and the subsequent impact of these projects. Today I'm talking about the artist known as Flvme, somebody who has, I guess in his namesake, kind of trailblazed through the industry for reasons which are particularly obvious. Flvme conspicuously lives in a world that is very identical to American rapper Travis Scott, aka Love Flame. I mean, he even kind of has the same hairstyle, his vocal tone, his projection, and he himself has outwardly admitted to being heavily influenced by Travis. That in itself is not a travesty. See what I did there? It is simply a young artist expressing his direct route, and what determines that is how you grow out of it. Has Flvme become something beyond of a Travis Scott carbon copy? Or are South African fans who have basically assisted in Flvme's popularity amongst the club scene and basically this 2000 nightlife temporary ecstasy soundtrack that a lot of artists are part of, is something particularly generational, which speaks to the voices of what the youth are really tapping into today. So for any artist to be able to rise to the notable status that Flvme has, there's something there. But often than not, because of the fact that music is subjected to industry stereotypes and is put out there as a product to sell, it can sometimes not be the merit of the artist's own skill, and even the fact that they have something of substance to bring to their audience and the cultural milieu in which they're part of. Most of the times it's because they play very neatly into tropes and trends. And I would agree that for Flvme it is very much the latter. We are in an era where our projection into American pop culture is still very much attached to the fact that South African media outlets, I'm talking to you, radio with your defunct ass, and all of these other traditional media sources still primarily give us American music, you know. Shout out to Cloudy for trying, but we're still in a place where politically we have an issue. We have an issue with the fact that we are being inundated with the syndicated sounds of a world which does not directly mirror our particular experiences. And for young people growing up in these times, they're not necessarily equipped with the questions and even the answers to make sense of the soundtrack that they're hearing. They turn on the television and will be playing an American artist, and they turn on the radio and DJ will be playing an American artist. You are more likely to hear a Drake song on than to hear a song from a Xhosa MC or Xhosa trap artist. This boils into the crucial reason why artists who still reflect American culture and American mannerisms in their way of being are still freaking popular. What am I saying? Am I saying Flvme is simply the beneficiary of a colonial archetype which sticks us in a place where we don't grow in our indigenous power? You bet your fucking bottom dollar. That's what I'm saying. And because that's what I'm saying, a lot of artists are comfortable in this given niche of just being parrots of American culture, and Flvme gives us yet another one of these renditions. His latest project is entitled Germander, which I found very interesting because the plant in and of itself is something which grows indigenously, is something which has healing properties. So I guess what he was going with this is his music is a serum of hope and an ointment that is able to soothe the listener into, I don't know, at the very least a trance, at the very most a moment of spiritual upheaval. And does he do that? Here's one positive significance to the music that Flvme makes. Trap music is a build up to a moment of ecstasy. It has very much inherited electronic dance music insistence on building a threshold. So when you listen to trap, it's definitely music that aims to get you to a place of rapture. Great trap artists master this, Flvme included. This album is bathed in what are really spiritual overtones that are made to slowly get you bubbling to a place of great out of bodiness. This is why this music works. This is why the lean, the moody purple atmosphere, the dark lights with the resonant dreamy themes are such a fixture and a fundamental part of the collective imagination of trap music. Trap music isn't necessarily drugged out music, it's ecstasy music. It's music that's made to bring people out of their normal bodily tension. And Flvme does that spectacularly. He's got this voice that oozes with a bass that doesn't command but serenades. Serenading being a good word, because this is music for bitches, quote unquote. This is music for women who want to have a good time. This is music for people who want to have a carefree experience that's not attached to any of the immediate domestic and psychological pending monumental crises that come with just being alive. This is a music that is like taking off an uncomfortable pair of sneakers at the end of the day. This is definitely that kind of music. It's music where the whole point is release, the whole point is unwind, the whole point is freedom. And it does give a level of sonic freedom. Thematically speaking though, it's trapped in a place where can you truly have freedom if the sonic scope you're using doesn't quite speak in the language of the people you're trying to negotiate a relationship with? I mean, fine. The younger generation in South Africa is very much focalized into the language of the African American experience. But still, when you go into the mass demographic of this country, how they speak and how they experience their woes and their follies and their joys, there's still something to be said about how the majority, not all, but the majority of trap music speaks to people in a language that is really not theirs. And maybe people don't care because trap music isn't really made to be legible in its message. That's why a lot of the so-called rappers in it have been accused of mumbling. It's okay to write the words out in a way where they're not coherent and cohesive to the listener's ear, because what trap music again is made to do is to break you out of the regularities and the normal structure of life. And I guess part of that is words, part of that is speaking. So I guess good trap shouldn't make you want to listen to anything, it should make you want to forget it all. So maybe if I'm going to base this review on Flvme's content, which is pretty much get money, fuck bitches, you my girl, I know you want me, I know I want you too, I've been creeping, I'm the guy you want, I am this kind of attractive force. Maybe that's not what I should even be talking about, because reviewing fundamentally for me is about what the artist is trying to do. And as I said in the beginning, Flvme is an artist who's a product of this colonial American stronghold that we have to mimic Western values and Western contemporary aesthetics. And as a result, is he doing that effectively? Hell yes. Is he speaking to an audience who seem to really relate to it? Hell freaking yes. There's a demand, and there is definitely somebody who meets that by giving people what they want. But here's a question now. Do the things that people want always base themselves off of what's really deep and resonant in their lives, or has capitalism found a way to basically give us a limited range of choices on how to channel our escapism and how to channel our transcendence? I think that's the case. I think we live in an era where, because music is part of an industry, we're told how to be free, and there are artists who simply fit into this context of giving us Western orientated aesthetics of freedom which don't speak to what we are about. So how do I ultimately judge Flvme as an artist and this project in particular? Let's get into it. What it is for me is that it boils down to the stories that artists tell just by being artists. And if you're going to subject your art to be nothing but the train of trend, you're really going to be an artist who's going to filter themselves according to a narrative that isn't theirs. All you are is a product placement. You are not an authentic window into what people are actually feeling. So there are things that work in a temporary context because capitalism thrives on obsolescence, which is just a big word which means works now but doesn't work later on when you truly really need it. We live in a world where a lot of the best products are made to filter to immediate needs, but they not linger in the moment beyond their particular relevance. And I think Flvme is part of a generation of artists who are going to be very forgettable because they work from within a bubble that's based on a timeline. And timelines are as active as the winds of change, and eventually we will break out of trap. And the question is, what did you decide to do when we were in it that determines how you live when we're out of it? And I think Flvme plays so much into it that by the time we're out of it, it isn't going to resonate as anything memorable other than a moment where we remember the stupid stuff that we did as kids, or at least the generation that relates to Flvme. So Germander, in a nutshell, is a body of work that you can tell comes from an artist who loves what he does but has not truly considered the role that it plays on a level of culture. As a result, I can't even call Flvme an artist. He's a tastemaker. Artists understand the cultural context of their work. Artists seek to become something beyond product placement. They tell the stories as they come from the people because they themselves understand that they are a channel through which the people can find catharsis, and they are a mode through which the art speaks to the country and the country speaks to the art. And I do want to say we got a whole lot of tastemakers that are fronting as artists, but the headspace is about being able to distinguish things. And I want to say kudos to all the tastemakers, but eventually this is a place that really limits the capacity for art. And is this a piece of art? No, it's a piece of commercial product placement put in a time where it's really cool and it fits into the context of what's going on. To me, I'm gonna have to give it a 3.5 out of 10 for being honest to what it is, but the rest can't be given credit for me because it lacks the mass appeal, the authenticity, the technical diversity, and the emotional depth to even be close to something that can be called a significant artistic piece of work from an artist who understands where they come from. I'm Vijay, the brother from the ancient mother. I will always be harsh because we're dealing with the issues of culture, and artists who do not understand how the culture is at work basically subject themselves to being played by it instead of playing from within it. So yeah, Flvme, you played yourself. You continue to play yourself, and maybe that's not a bad thing. Maybe you're consciously playing yourself because this is a window of opportunity you know you can fit in. But if you do seek to become something more than just the flavor of the moment that we're in right now, think local, act global. Vijay, the brother from the ancient mother. If you feel like I'm hating, talk to me on the comment section. If you feel like this is a true expression of love, which I feel it is, please also talk to me on the comment section. We're doing this probably what now, 3 times a week, Takeza?
Yeah, 3 times now.
So many beautiful projects coming out, and I say beautiful because even in the critique there is a level of beauty. It's beautiful to see people just do what they feel is right, and that's one thing I can say about this project. It is what Flvme feels is right. But when you operate in the context of industry, market, art, history, and subsequently the future, you've really got to think more than just being in your own particular bubble. Shout out, I love you.